Morning.
Good morning, everyone.
Well,
Morning.
that doesn't.
Good morning, Don.
How are you?
Good, but that doesn't look like your office.
No, I'm in Williams, Arizona this morning.
Cool.
Very cool, actually. Only it's just got above 55, which I'm very
That is
pleased with.
cool.
Yep. Came
I
up
think
to
of
get out the
Arizona and I don't think of those temperatures ever.
Well, this is interesting. Did you know Arizona has more acreage of trees than Minnesota?
No, I did not. That is very interesting.
If you look at the state of Arizona and you look at a phenomena on the map where you can see the topography, you'll see the lower part of the desert where Phoenix and Tucson is. Then you'll see a mesa that goes practically across the entire state. It's called the Mogollon Rim. You'll see Payson and Flagstaff and all that. From that north on the western side, all that is all trees. The eastern side is the beautiful reservation where there's like no trees, but it's got a different kind of beauty. But yeah, we have the Kaibab Plateau, which is, thousands of acres. It's really gorgeous. Let's see. All right, I am going to share the screen here, folks. We'll get going on our journey. Let's see. I'm on a laptop, so I have a minimal screen where I'm so used to being on my at my desktop where I have two monitors. So it kind of gets a little iffy. Here we go. We're good. One more quick change and we should be fine. Here we go. Right over to there. All right. First up is Rick. I don't think Rick is here. Rick, you're not here, right?
No, I'm here. Good
You
morning,
are
Don.
here.
Good morning, everyone.
Did you send me a note saying you wouldn't be here?
No,
Okay, somebody different then. All right. Good morning, Rick.
good morning.
All right. We've got a golf ball. How many times did you drop the golf ball to get it at that position?
The position, not too many, but to get the logo the way I wanted it, that was the challenge. So you'll see in the behind the scenes, I ended up mounting the ball on a knitting needle. There you go. And then I handheld it in there just to get a clean shot
Oh, nice.
of the ball, and then
Okay.
brought that in so that I had the logo oriented the way I wanted. Because it failed. Without that, you could drop it, I don't know how many times, and not get that logo just right.
Exactly
The ball will
right.
spin.
I love what you did with it. You've got the splash is about twice the size of below the water here with the golf ball. It's just below the surface of the water, which we've got a little tension broken there. So it's in a perfect position. It's a great position for the ball to be in. If it was down here, it's a different shot. If it's way down below the surface, it's right there. It just broke the surface. So this is a combination of two shots, one with the
Yeah, and the splash, most of that splash is from one shot, and then I added in a little bit of particularly above the water line from another splash shot.
and the little blue background.
That's a little bit in Photoshop. I shot against black, but I felt it needed something, so I just a layer with brush painted in, and then I think a little blend if,
All right.
and just a subtle touch of color there, just add some interest.
Really looks good, man. Really looks good. Nice shot, Rick.
Thank you.
That's neat.
We will figure it all out.
Oh, no,
Alright.
my behind the scenes didn't show up.
It didn't? No, it didn't.
Oh, I thought I had it in the comments there.
Because we're not
Well,
there and we were like.
I guess
well,
I didn't.
it's what we
Oh, in your comments? Are we seeing
Yeah, I
all-
thought I put it in the comments for some
Well,
reason. It didn't
we're
show
not
up.
seeing all the comments.
Oh,
Well, maybe we are seeing. all
Yeah,
that.
I don't know. Maybe I forgot to put it in. I could have forgot. That's okay too.
I always have to go through.
So you dropped the octopus.
forest.
Oh my gosh, that was quite the learning experience because I dropped the octopus and I thought that, you know, like in my mind, I was like, okay, I'm going to drop him. His tentacles are going to come out. It's going to be cool. They're going to be popping out of the top of the water. But they did. He like every time I would drop it, it would almost like ball up into a ball until it hit the bottom of the tank. And then once it was at the bottom and settled, it would fan out.
Oh my.
And I'm like, oh, this is just really difficult to work with.
Was it,
So, but I did it.
Was it a live octopus?
No, it was dead. It was
Oh, okay.
dead. And then, of course, with it being so big, the store near me, they only had the large ones. They didn't have the small ones.
Okay.
So it was, you know, it filled that 10-gallon tank when it was fully open. Like it filled the tank. It was pretty big. So,
Oh my.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, like I said, that was like 477 shots to get that one.
Well, this is a very interesting shot for sure. I think I would keep this shot. Okay. I don't know. I think there'll be a place to show it. I don't know if I put it in your overall portfolio, but I think you definitely could show this picture at something specific that came along. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah, cool.
All
Yeah,
right,
just
sounds good.
pop your
Thanks.
splash up a bit more. Pull it out.
Okay.
Make it brighter.
All right. All right. Thank you.
Yes,
Don, I'm hearing a lot of noise in the background.
I believe that was Rainy.
Oh,
It totally was me.
okay, thank you.
And this one is Jorge's. Is Jorge here?
Yes,
All right, Jorge. This is a speaker, you said?
it's a toaster.
A toaster. Okay,
Yeah.
so you rendered the toaster
Mm-hmm.
and then rendered the splash?
It's simulated, so it's like it's supposed to act like true physics. And I did like 8 or 9 different simulations
Mhm.
until I got this one. The one thing different from my previous ones is this one I also simulated bubbles and the spray that you see above.
Mhm.
So, and I'm able, like the bubbles, for example, I can actually decide the shape of them because I render the bubbles. I can render the shape. So there's actually, I mean, it's hard to see, but I did 3 different sizes of them and 3 different shapes.
Nice.
So
The only thing that doesn't render, there's no splash.
yeah, it didn't have a splash. Well, in this particular one, it didn't have a water splash. It didn't keep giving me one. I don't know if it was the curvature of the toaster. I don't know how true that simulation is.
Well, I
When I
think-
dropped it flat,
think
it
that-
did.
At this point where it is here in the water, there would be water.
Yeah, there would be, but it wasn't doing it. When I dropped it flat, I did one earlier one where I dropped it flat, but you couldn't tell it was a toaster though. There was some. So no, I'm not quite sure. Like, if apparently I get to if I animate it, okay, so I just make it as an animation where it drops into the water, I get this kind of splash. If I give it physics, like I give it its weight and let gravity deal with it, I get this ridiculously huge splash that makes no sense. So I think it's just the tweaks. I'm first time really doing one this big, so there's lots of settings and I got to learn how to use properly. So
Well, excellent.
there's
Thank
a
you,
behind the
Juan.
scenes drawing too somewhere there.
Oh, it's a long ways away from it.
You'll get to it eventually. I'll let you know when it's there.
All right, very good. And David Hayden decided to drop a lens. Although I
Yeah.
don't think he really dropped a lens.
No.
What is causing that big tremendous splash and the bubbles down in the water here?
Well, I had a coffee cup that looks like a lens, and I dropped it to create a splash that would be sort of consistent with the lens.
Sure, yeah,
And then I just, cloned out the coffee cup and put in the lens.
cool. Nice light on the lens, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. I was at the gallery yesterday. We had our open Friday night, and there were a bunch of photographers there that had seen this online, and they were saying, "Oh my God, what are you doing?" It was really funny.
You tell them that you're taking a class online, and the guy said the secret to getting really sharp pictures is to keep your lenses really clean. And the best way to clean lenses is to soak them in kerosene. Just drop them in kerosene 6 or 8 times. And it's a pro secret that no one's supposed to know about. Just tell them that, David.
Yeah, go home and try it right now.
Yeah. You guys try it. Try it with your stuff. Then you'll be the only photographer at the gallery next week. So
Yeah.
yeah, I like that. I like the idea you use something very similar to do it. So that works out pretty well. I would tell you also pop that water a little bit brighter. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Pull that don't pull the contrast up on this lens. It doesn't need it. The lens looks great, but pull the if you look at it, the lens seems to have more light in the highlights than the water, right?
Yes.
That's what we want to do. We want to bring this water up to match the brightness of the lens here. And right now it's not. So we just leave your mask on and just pull that water up a little bit more. Possibly with contrast could pull it up. Maybe clarity could pull it up, or something like that. But yeah, pull it up brighter so it really has some punch.
Okay.
All
Yeah.
right, good. Your behind the scenes shot here. I gave my wife a heart attack with I've got the 70-200 f4 coffee cup, the
Yeah.
fake one. And I picked up the baby, and I had the lens in one hand and I had the baby, and I started like fumbling, and I'm like, oh my God. And she goes, and I dropped the lens. She goes, oh my God, is it okay? I'm like, yeah, I think the coffee's fine. Yeah, the coffee's fine.
Yeah.
Little
They're
things.
pretty realistic looking little mugs.
Yeah, they really are. You want to be careful you don't take one on a shoot. They don't really work.
Not sharp, huh?
No. You got all your stuff covered, really good, very protective, because you probably got some pretty good splashes. And then you're using a lever.
Yeah, I just drilled a hole in a board and then put it on a clamp and hung it out on the end of that handy dandy new C-stand I got.
Uh-huh.
And then I had the wire set there so I could control how far I lifted it, and I'd take it to the same height each time and drop it. And so I got more consistent splashes that way. And then I just kept dialing it in until I had a splash I kind of liked.
Excellent.
As a manufacturing engineer for 40 years, so it's like everything's got to be a process.
Well, yeah. It looks great.
Thank you.
I got to make sure here. Hold on. Yeah. It looks great. And it's a very well created site, sir. Set. And how you came up with doing it is very well thought out. Super job.
Thank you.
Yeah, super job. Our next one is a lemon. Wow, I love the reverse look, the reverse reflection of the lemon up there.
It's an orange, Don.
What's that?
It's an orange.
It's an okay, an orange, lit right straight from above, and great splash here. This is cool. Pulling all the now. This is a single shot or multiple shots?
That's a single.
Wow, nice splash and great lines coming from the orange down here. Really nice.
I tried about 10 more after this, and then I realized there's not much point in doing this because that one's the best.
Yeah. Yeah, how many did you do before it?
Probably about 60.
Well, it's got really great design. The composition of everything leading down to the clear orange, and then a nice little bounce. We got a white card under the water somewhere or something.
On the side, camera left.
Okay,
Also, I had a flash on camera left too.
okay. Is the flash going into the card or going into the orange?
Orange. I used, yeah, as you can see, I had the card just set up to the right side of the flash, and away we went.
Okay. So this is camera here, this is camera here.
That's the camera.
That's a
And then the
flash.
left-hand side, that's the flash, and I got a little diffuser on it.
Okay. And then you got your main flash from above.
Yep.
Yeah. Cool. Well, it sparkles up the water nice. How far were you?
Thanks,
from the
Don.
back? How far are you background? All right. So you're back quite a bit from the background. So we're not getting any spill of light on the black. It's just simply going pure black.
Yep.
Good job, man.
Thanks, Don.
Don, sorry, it's Patricia here. I was just wondering, could I ask about that photo there?
Sure.
I was trying to do a black background, but I got lots of reflections coming back, like of the camera and myself and stuff, and I'm just wondering how they were
from the-
shot that I didn't.
From the black background?
Yeah, from the
or-
lights. Well, when I had the lights on them at the side, I was trying to put the lights at the side and the background black behind it.
Well, how far away was that black?
That's about 3 feet from the background to the fish tank.
Did you have
Oh, mine was very close.
Yeah, it's got to be back. Back.
Are you sure it's not a reflection from the glass on the aquarium?
It would be if the black is right up next to the glass, like an inch away from the glass, it's going to reflect like a mirror. It's going to cause.
Yeah,
it-
that's what I
okay.
was finding, yeah.
Yeah, you got to
I
move it
took
way
it
back, and you won't get
into-
that mirror effect then.
I took it
Oh,
into
right, 'cause-
levels and changed the setting on the levels, and that darkened the black and got rid of the
Oh.
reflection.
One thing
Well,
that go ahead,
that,
Tricia.
no, I was just saying that explains it because mine was very near.
Yeah. A lot of people don't know this, but the backing of a mirror is black, not white. It's black. And they put the glass over it, and it's the black behind the glass that gives us the mirror effect. So that's what was
I didn't
happening.
know
You were
that.
actually creating a bit of a mirror.
Okay, great. Thank
All
you.
right. All right. Well, very good. Whose is this? This is Carrie. Is Carrie here? Carrie going once, Carrie going twice.
No, her note says she's not going to be here the next couple of Saturdays.
Oh, okay.
It is Carol, not Carrie. Carol.
I like the blue, the overtones of blue through here. Really, that's nice. It looks to me like she's created that maybe with a gel or something, but the blue gives it a cold and underwater feel for it. Thanks, Carrie. Oh, there's Jorge's thing.
That's my behind the scenes drawing.
Yep.
So 2 lights on the sides, and the top was just to give the white on the water, that white
Mhm.
reflection.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just very basic.
Well, good. Nicely done. You're really getting into that stuff. Now you're still shooting, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
just, but I mean, I live in a place where, I mean, they don't ground the electricity here. I am not putting anything wet near anything electric. Like when I have my lights up and I touch the light stands, I feel the tingle. So I'm not even gonna mess around.
Was that humidity or something?
No, they just we told them to ground the wire, the system, but they just didn't do it. They're lazy and they don't understand the concept.
Oh, geez.
So not trying water. And as for shooting, well, we haven't had tourists in about a year and a half now. So
Well, I like the fact that you keep on learning something, doing something every day. Don't languish. Yeah.
oh heck no.
Yep. Dean,
Hello, Don. How are you going?
good. Dean, how are you?
Yeah, excellent. Thank you for asking.
I love this twirl, this like vortex here of water well, it's obviously air being trapped under the water as the baby peas fall through. This is great splash up here. How many exposures to get this shot?
It was about 10 or 15. I was trying a variety of things. I tried even a balloon underwater, trying to get the air to come up. I was trying to get the shape of a pea in the splash. So that's the idea of that round shape.
Uh-huh.
Trying to emphasize, as a repetition of the peas. So,
Were you spinning the peas as you dropped them in the water?
well, this case is actually a green ball, and I spun it. I spun it and twirled it as I threw it into the water reasonably
Okay.
hard.
So it's a green bowl making the,
Yeah, so it's
splash.
a composite. That's what's
And then
doing
you-
it.
and then what about all these bubbles in front of this? Is that all composited in as well?
Well, I actually threw the peas in on their own, and that was the best one from the peas. So there was a composite of the splash from the ball and the peas themselves. The frozen peas.
Okay.
So I was trying to get,
Good composite work. Yeah, it looks very good. That's a nice commercial shot. Boy, any advertiser would love that. The peas popping in the fresh water like that. Nicely done. By the way, good work on the label. The lighting is right. The baby peas, the color is white on that lettering. You brought it out nicely. It looks very readable through here. So great composite, really good splash shot, and really good getting your label to pop.
thank you. Yeah, unfortunately, the background picture, I had moved it by then. I had to do another bit of work, so I had to sort of reset it up. It was just basically a couple of speed lights behind a diffuser and one from the front to light the label when I put their peas in, you know what I mean?
Okay. So
that's
just like a bit of a split lighting there. Yep. Cool. EJ is not here. Sent me notes that he wouldn't be here. Nice, EJ. I wonder if this is the stick, EJ. If that's the stick that you're using to hold this up, you got to clear that bad boy out. You're going to have to clone that little bit of stuff, take it out of there. I like the water going up the side of this, EJ. That's very clean. Lighting looks pretty good. It looks like there's a fog or something going on over here. I don't know if that's a reflection in the glass.
He used smoke.
Oh, okay.
And I think the stick might be the camera strap.
The camera strap? Oh, okay. Oh, I see. I thought it was a bottle of cologne. It's a camera. Okay. All right. Well, then that's fine. Well, it's one way to show the camera's waterproof right there. I think the smoke, I don't know if the smoke helps you. It kind of, I don't know, muddies up the image a bit. But good. Yeah. I think the smoke is what's happening. The smoke is reflecting back on the glass. So we're getting a double whammy of the smoke. All right, good. Oh my. Giannis.
Hello, Don. How are you?
Giannis, this is wow. This looks like an illustration.
I don't
Um,
know. That
tell us
came
how-
out.
Tell us how you did this.
I shot them in a separate way. I can't drop them both because
Uh-huh.
will broken. And I put it there, two lights behind the fish tank, and metered them. Open up two stops from there, and then just shoot till I shot 5 glasses. And then I composite those two to be like they were dropped together.
Right.
That
So
was my idea. But my actual idea, what I really wanted to do with those glasses, I just posted because those glasses were shot last night, late at night, and I hadn't finished my composite, and I posted it to the comments below. The actual shot I wanted to put in the assignment, it's down there, and what I really had in my mind, it's in the comment below. Yeah, that one.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's really good, Giannis. That's a very clever shot. That's a lot of compositing, right?
Yeah, it's 5 files. Yes, 5 glasses for 1 file for each glass, and then blended them together. And I had dropped color food at the end of the shot. I dropped at the same time 3 colors. Make a shot about the clouding and the effect I wanted to give the glass, like melting out,
Uh-huh.
and then I just did a composite. That's it.
Very clean. Very
thank you.
clean. Really clean. Did you put it behind the scenes? We're gonna see
Yes, it's
there
there.
we
Yes.
go. Okay. So are you indeed dropping the glasses in here, or
Yes, I am dropping them.
and we're not getting any bubbles up from the stems, huh? Interesting.
No, because they are too tall and the tank is too small. I hadn't, the time for them to drop and make bubbles. I had to shoot instantly, clap.
Got it.
That's what, yeah, it was difficult, and I broke the yellow one. My wife went crazy.
Is are we looking at these upside down?
No. It's the actual shot.
Oh,
That's
okay.
the raw. What you see now, that's the raw file. I hadn't done any retouching there at all.
Okay. All right. I
Just
see little
composite. Yeah.
bubbles coming up over here. Yeah, I'm fascinated that there's nothing coming up from the stems like that. Nice. Great, great shot, Giannis. You're
Thank you.
this is really, really super good shot.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, very good.
That was what I had in mind. The one with the colors, the all together, that I wanted to do, but I just ended up half an hour before the class.
Are you a commercial shooter?
Yeah, I shoot cosmetics and fashion photography for magazines. I have my own studio here in Athens with models. That's my specialty with cosmetics and modeling. That's yeah.
Very good. Very good, my friend.
Thank you, Don. Thank you.
Very good. Oh,
Hi, Don.
hi. Little guy's swimming along there. All right, this isn't a drop, right?
Yeah, it's a drop. That's a single shot. I mean, I did a bunch of them, but that's just one shot.
Okay. Wow, it looks like he's literally dog paddling.
Yeah.
Lighting wise, you got a light behind the aquarium. Is that what's going on?
Yeah. I think it's a little blown out. I had a reflector on it, and then some other shots, I took the reflector off, and I didn't use the other shots. I mean, I tried editing them, but I was really struggling with. I like the way Rainey had cleaned up her glass. All the splash marks weren't there except for what she wanted. So she posted a video on how to use dust and scratches.
Uh-huh.
And I worked on a bunch of different images, trying to get it out, and it just wasn't working too well. And then Giannis gave me some instructions using Gaussian blur, and I haven't quite got that one down yet, but I went back to the dust and scratches and just kept working with the opacity till I could not see those marks, those extra splashes, you know, that just weren't doing anything for the image,
Right.
except for dirtying up the glass.
I love that dust and scratches filter.
Yeah, it took me a while to start figuring out how to really get rid of the afterglow of spots.
It's it's a tricky filter. One point more can be too much. Or
Yeah,
one point left can be too, you got to really dial it in.
yeah. A lot of practice.
Yeah, very good. I like it.
Thank you.
I like it. I like this real subtle little splash here. There's plenty of room for type and copy. And it does have a very whimsical, the smile and the legs and the whole thing, it's charming.
Thank you.
Ooh, Patricia dropped a bell pepper.
Hi,
Hi, Patricia. How are you?
too bad. Struggling a bit, but
That's all right. This water looks gorgeous here. The air bubble being dropped after the pepper dropped in. Is this a large pepper or sort of a smallish pepper?
it's well, no, I'd say normal sized. I don't know what that is.
Okay, because the stem looks much bigger compared to the pepper
The
than what
stems
I'm-
were quite big on them, yeah. So it might be a slight bit of an illusion, but it is an actual shot. That's the way it is, yeah.
And I can't tell on my little laptop screen, but is it sharp here?
I don't think it is. I was really struggling with light. I
Okay.
had very high ISO and I wasn't sure the speed light I had, I was trying to set it down so that it was a short burst, but I wasn't
Right.
100% sure. And that was the bit I was struggling with as well, I think.
Okay, so you had a speed light here,
Yeah, to
And-
try and freeze the action.
and the speed light is shining into the shiny thing here.
That's a light as well, but it is shining in towards the
Okay.
diffuser.
Okay,
reflector
so
thing.
this one's a continuous light.
Yeah, mostly I have only continuous lights. and that's-
Okay.
I don't know whether if I had more of the speed lights, whether that would be more.
Yes. Yes, because what's happening is even if you've got your speed light dialed down to where it stops the motion continues with the continuous lights.
Right, that was. what
So
was-
even if you were at a shutter speed of like 250, which would be your,
I was at 125th, 250.
Yeah.
F11, but as I say, because I had such poor light, I was up at 1,000
Yep.
ISO, which made it grainy as well. So I just have a lot of technical issues, but I really want to try to get it right. So that's why it's persevering, but
absolutely, absolutely. Well, to get your backlights, your continuous lights to be bright enough to give you a white here, your ISO had to be very high.
yeah, I was
Um,
up about 1,000. I mean, I brightened it a bit in Photoshop as well.
Right.
So.
And then because they're continuous lights, they're part of the exposure.
Yeah,
They're not all of the exposure, but they're a part of it. So what's happening is your speed light's coming in, and if we blew this up, we're going to find areas of sharpness, like this
Yeah.
water, areas of sharpness, when around it, there would be some softness, and that would be the continuous lights continuing to burn. Let me show you what I mean.
so I would need really to have a couple of more speed lights to do
Yes.
it properly.
Yes. So here's a picture. We're going to draw a picture of what the shutter experience looks like. So here's the 2/250th of a second. Okay, that's 1/250th of a second between here and
Yeah.
there, right? Your flash is this. Your
Yeah,
flash is at 1,000th of a second, so it's just a tiny sliver. But meantime, your continuous lights are going the whole distance.
yeah, because I was struggling to get it to be completely sharp.
Yep. Best thing to
And-
do for
And the
speed
trouble
lights,
was,
are you in UK?
yeah,
Go to Amazon.
yeah,
And-
if you have a suggestion for something that wouldn't be too
Ask-
expensive, I would certainly go for it.
Amazon has their own speed lights. They're just Amazon speed lights. They're probably a
Right.
knockoff, obviously, of a little Chinese. They're very inexpensive. They're about $25. Maybe they're $35 now, but they're
That's
pretty
okay,
cheap.
I don't mind if I know what I'm supposed to be doing. It's just what I don't want to spend a whole lot on a thing and it not to make
Right.
much difference to the photography, you know?
Oh yeah, they'll make a huge difference. Now, these are what are called dumb speed lights. So there's no ETTL, there's no auto exposing, anything. They're just lights and you've got power. So, you can go from full down to a 30-second power. Okay.
Right,
And they've got slaves on them. So all you have to do is fire one and all the other ones are going to fire at the same time with the slaves.
right.
You
Would
just-
you have a link to that or something, or?
I don't have the UK, but I can send you one. Sure. I'll
Yeah,
put it
just so
up.
as I know what I'm looking for.
Yep, I'll put some suggestions up on the Facebook page.
Oh, that'd be great, because
Yep.
as I say, when you're looking, there's so many and I'm like,
Yep.
oh, I don't really know which one is one that's going to be useful for me.
Well, and then you have, and the other confusing thing is you have companies like Godox, and Godox is like, they make 15 different flashes. And you don't know which one
Yeah, the one,
which
the
does
one, the
what.
speed light that I have is a newer or something. but-
Neewer, yep. Neewer does the same thing. They've got high-end Neewers, very nice Neewers for $100, and they've got cheap Neewers for 25.
But I wasn't too sure
we
which
need-
one to go for. I just went for one that obviously would work with my Canon camera. So that was about as much information as I.
And all we need for our work is the cheap ones.
Great.
don't need
Yeah.
any
Okay.
other
Yeah.
thing.
If you wouldn't mind, that'd be really great. 'Cause
I will do it for you.
I could
Yep.
certainly get that. On
Now,
my
it probably
I'd like
won't
to
be up-
try them again. So
I probably won't get that information up until tomorrow or Monday because I am.
oh,
on
no
Zoom,
worries. Yeah. No,
But I'll
no
get it
worries.
up for you.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great.
All right. Arnold.
Thank you.
Arnold,
Good
are
morning,
you there?
Don.
Hey.
Yep, I am.
So,
Good morning, Don. Hello, everyone.
so what are we doing here? We got an orange one in the.
Don, we can't see your screen.
I'm sorry. Hold on. There we go. All right. So we
All
got,
right, so let me explain how I arrived at this. I originally wanted a black background with white outline. So if you scroll down on the comments, Jay's first comment, you would see my first attempt at that. Yeah, Jay's comment right there above. If you click my comment, yeah, it would show the image. There you go. That was my first try. The problem with that is when I dropped the bottle, I broke the tank. I cracked the bottom of the tank. And it also didn't work because it didn't have the finesse. It was the splashes were too violent for me. It just wasn't working. So I said I had to approach it differently. So I came up with the other one. So this one is basically, since my tank had a crack, I had to tilt it. I had to tilt my tank because it would not take the full weight of the water because it started leaking.
okay.
And when I did that, I just added two strip lights, a scrim, and I just put a 5-in-1 background and just shot it and then added black foam so that I could get the black outline. I mean, I can contour the form of the bottle.
Right.
And basically it's done in one shot. I mean, the only thing I really worked on this was cleaning up the background and cleaning the water line below, because I had parts of the tank showing up there, and I had the plexiglass rod. If you go to behind the scenes next, you'll see there. This one I had to use a plexiglass rod. And what I did here to get the splash is actually I was just rocking the rod slightly so that it just skims the surface of the water. So rocking it back and forth to get that subtlety. And
There
I
you
got a
go.
lot of images that work, but some of them did not show the branding. Some of them did not show the label. Like the orange one, if you look at the comments, the orange one is nice, but the labeling is dead. I mean, the branding and the labeling is just dead. So I just didn't do that.
Yeah,
mean-
the dark gray is too dark behind it.
Yep. Yep. And it has a different sensibility. And because it's Lacoste, so I had to get the sensibility because, Lacoste, if you look at all the advertising, it's all tint, it's all pastel. Nothing really colorful. Most of the backgrounds are almost whites, really. So I
Yeah.
had to get the same sensibility.
I really like this very subtle little pop of a splash. It's almost like it's moving through the water.
Okay.
I like it. Nice and subtle.
Thanks.
Yeah, good job, Arnold.
That little splash almost mirrors the design in the bottle too, which is kind of fun.
It does, huh?
Yeah, I thought that was really cool.
Like this, like that. Arnold, so you're using one light from this side?
No,
That's it?
two lights. I had, because I had to use the lower power because originally I was using the same light, but I couldn't go lower than that. So I had to switch to speed light
Okay,
as a fill because I couldn't lower it anymore. And it was one to one, the lighting ratio. So I had to change my light. I
got
had
it.
to use speed light. Yeah,
Got it. All right, good.
thanks.
Yeah, nice set, by the way. Nice set.
Thank you.
Oh my. Jay, that's very
Hi,
cool.
Don.
man. Yeah. So you're shooting
Yeah,
up
this is
into the
fun.
tank.
Yeah, I decided I wanted to do that because I just was not getting, I just thought it would be a different look, and I think that's what somebody else was doing. And points at it. Oh, that would make it, a little bit more dramatic.
Well, it certainly does. Instead of coming straight across, you're looking up, so we get all of this surface reflection up here. We get the carrots reflected in the surface reflection. And the light, we got a light above and a light from below, it looks like.
Yeah, there's two lights below. It's a light tape. I made a light tape some time ago, and this is the best use that I've yet gotten out of it. So there's two lights, fluorescent lights, sort of shop lights below that illuminate it upwards.
Okay, and you're using continuous light.
On the bottom. But there's two speed lights and an Einstein. Einstein's at the top and two speed lights on either side.
Okay. And what was your shutter speed?
1/25 of a second, 1/125th of a second.
Okay. Okay, that's what's softening these tips here. Your continuous lighting is going all the way through while your other strobes are just popping a little bit of sharpness. Continuous light isn't getting up into here, so all of this stays really, really sharp.
Is that what was happening? I couldn't figure that out.
Oh yeah, if you're going to try to freeze your action, all of your light has to be a tiny fraction of light, all of it. If it's continuous light, through that entire 125th of a second, the continuous light is burning and those things are moving. So the
Yeah,
flash
that's
will
what they were doing.
freeze it. Now, you can get a neat effect with that too, though, right? If you want a neat effect, do a 15th of a second with continuous light and strobe, and do what's it called? Rear curtain sync, right? Then the carrots are moving through the 30th or 15th of a second because of the continuous light. Then right at the just before the shutter closes, the strobe hits them, and that sharpens everything up at that moment. And then everything goes black. So you could have streaks of the carrots going up, and then just frozen in spots in place. But see, that takes a longer exposure than 1/125th of a second. So, yeah, cool.
Yep, thank you.
Very interesting shot.
This was the most fun I've had with these things yet.
Yeah, fun with the
And there's so many
reflection
different
up
things
into
you
the
can
water.
drop into. What's that?
I said really nice with the reflection in the top of it. That's really cool.
Thank you.
Great job. Luke.
Yes, I'm here.
Hey, Luke. Wow, this is pretty cool. This is
Yes,
very cool.
thanks. Today from the video that you with the apples.
Yeah. Wow. Bright field lighting from the back. Darkness around. I see you're going to dark cards there, not going studio black, just really controlling that black. And lovely shot, man. Really cool. I could see this being used in a restaurant or a store or anything like that. I imagine all of these are individual shots dropped in, and then you just lined up the horizon and popped them in then, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
But we go with printed on a sort of vinyl. And if you click see more, you see that I go printed by exposure.
You're going to print it with exposure?
Yes, exposure is a film, and it printed on a sort of vinyl, and you do it on a rack.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's like canvas, but
So how big will the print be? Will it be 100 and how big
What
is
will-
the print?
Yes, it printed 1 meter 20 centimeters.
Okay. That'll be spectacular. And then going in your studio?
In the living room.
Good.
Thank you.
Good. Yeah, good shot.
Thank you.
Very cool. Josh.
Hello.
Hey, Josh. Really
Hey.
super commercial look here. Love the splash up here. The bottle looks great. You put the label on in Photoshop. So
Yep.
the label looks really, really clean, and you've got all this wonderful stuff happening around it. This little things like this dark little bit of darkness right there, a little bit of darkness up here on the shoulder, and all these wonderful little spiders of darkness which delineate the shape of this bottle down here. Really nicely done. The highlight, by the way, putting the highlight kind of like right down through here where that was a good idea as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, let's look at your behind the scenes.
Yeah, I had to shoot it on the floor because it turns out my table couldn't hold the weight of all that water.
Yeah.
So I kind of had to get creative with that, but I made it work.
Well, the question we all have in our minds right now is when you say the table wouldn't hold it, how did you find that out? The good way or the hard way?
I would say the lucky way because I
Okay,
had
the
it on the
lucky way.
table
Well,
for a while till I
thank
started
goodness.
thinking about it. And so then I crawled under the table and looked at the label on the table and it said it holds 30 pounds and water weighs like 8 point something a gallon.
So
and
you
it's
got
like
about 88 pounds sitting on top of it.
right. So I was like, maybe not. So I
Yeah, 'cause
emptied it.
there's no
and got lucky.
escaping gravity. You know,
Nope.
I don't believe that there's a lot of rules in photography, but by God, I believe in gravity.
Right. You
Yeah.
can pretty much count on gravity.
Yeah, pretty much count on it. This is a great shot, Josh. Really well
Thank you.
done, man. Yeah.
I
Thank you.
I also
Really, this
dunked it using the stick. I didn't just drop it because it was clunking the bottom of the tank, and I was like,
Right.
I don't want it to crack. So,
So you're using a stick on the bottle.
yep, just a wooden dowel. I
Yep.
hot glued to it, and then I just removed it after.
Yep. Really easy to remove it, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Yep. That's the
That's pretty
thing.
much the easiest part of the post work was taking that stick out.
Yep.
And
Yeah,
that
that's
dark
really nice. And it
line
looks
on
like
the
you
neck-
brought it in at an angle, which is what
Yep.
a little bit with trailing water going back up that way. Yeah. This
And
is
that can
great
cause me a
class.
problem with the label though, because I shot the label straight like a dummy. And so then when I tried to put it on there, it didn't quite line up. So I had to take puppet warp and kind of make it fit,
Yeah.
which was a little bit time consuming, but it worked.
Yeah. Well, puppet.
I mean, I should have been smart and shot the label with the bottle at an angle too, but you know.
There's 4 things in Photoshop that I think that are rather new that I think photographers must know. I mean, there's all kinds of, you know, retouching and kinds of those things with skin and everything. But the things that you have to know these days, one is replacing the background with color. It's a technique that we're going to use the rest of our commercial lives. Clients don't want to shoot that bottle on 16 different backgrounds with 16 different bills from you. They want to shoot it once. They want to put the background in through Photoshop. Number 2, puppet warp. Since it has been introduced, it's a huge boon to what we do. Puppet warp is incredible. Number 3 is perfect color rendition for different layers. Sometimes we build our layers up and we start losing our color. Really understanding how that color works is phenomenal. And the 4th is understanding sharpening so that you can really, really sharpen these images to the point where you'd be surprised at what clients will do. They'll pixel peep and do all kinds of things, but really understanding sharpening. Those are the new methods, not the old methods, but the new methods. Those things are so important. There's so much you can do with puppet warp on just regular traditional photography. It used to be photographers did it. I mean, retouchers did it. They could wrap this thing around here, but it would be a very painstaking job to do. And now with puppet warp, it's much easier. It's not easy, it's much easier. So
yeah, I'm still playing with puppet warp. I'm not an expert at it by any means. I was still able to get that label on there looking pretty good in
Yeah.
maybe half hour. Like it didn't take too long to just kind of bend it just enough. And it almost fit anyway, so it's like I was making a huge correction, but that puppet warp is pretty awesome.
yeah, it really is. It really is. Oh, and by the way, if I was to add a 5th, it would be the tool called Blend If.
Oh
If
yeah,
you
Blend If is
understand
great.
Blend If, oh man, a whole bunch of possibilities come right up in front of you. It's pretty
Yep.
amazing.
Yeah, it is.
Very good.
I
Really
have a
good.
Thank you.
question. What kind of water do people use? Just straight tap water or distilled water? I use distilled water, but it starts getting expensive after a
I use just tap water.
while.
So I mean,
Okay.
just straight tap
Okay,
water. I mean, I was
Mhm.
shooting in my basement, so I was carrying it down in buckets, but you know.
Oh my, yeah. Well, good.
Okay.
Very good. Wet and Wild. These are lipsticks?
Yep, they are. Dollar store lipsticks.
Oh, okay. Did you dropped them as a clump, Joe?
They're in on a stick, on a acrylic rod.
All right. So you're forcing them down in the water then?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Yeah, The only thing I would say about this image is I think I'd pop this water a little bit more.
Okay, a little bit more than
Pull
that.
those highlights up. Let us really see that glistening silverish look of those drops of water. Getting
Okay,
your
I-
horizon line right there. So we've got drops going above and below, which is very cool. Very cool. Yeah, cool. And then Joe, saturate the lipstick a little bit.
Okay,
Yeah. Yeah, cool. Let's look at you behind the
Thanks.
scenes. All right. 2 soft boxes each side through scrims.
yep, and they're kind of pulled forward so the light doesn't go to the back at all. And it lights
Got
the
it.
front of it lights the logos up on the lipsticks.
Yeah, is that all yeah, you
That's
are.
it.
You're
I put that other black, what do you call it, gobo thing down because it was picking up the color of the table in the tank.
okay.
I was getting a lot of weird orange colors. I'm trying to figure where the heck it's coming from, and that was it.
Okay. Yeah, it's really nice. Color rendition is good through here. This nice black, but we nice have a little bit of an edge all the way around so we can see
Mhm.
the units. Cool. Good job.
Thanks.
Yeah. And if you guys can see what he's talking about here, his tank is there. His scrims start right at looks like the middle of the tank and come
No,
forward
this-
all the way.
Right.
So they're lighting the front, they're not lighting the back of the tank. So even that corner back there is probably not getting light. And then he's feathered the boxes, and that means he's turned the boxes. So there's a close edge here, and there's a farther edge here. And what that does is it adds a subtle gradient to the highlights themselves. You may not be able to see them in a picture this small, but they're there. And if you blew it up big, you would see those highlights have a little soft gradient to them. And that is, that's one of those things where you just, you go the extra mile. You're just doing one little thing more and adding a little more pizzazz to the drops. Good, cool.
Thanks.
Jason.
Don.
Hey, Jason. Is that wine?
It's a apple brandy, but it's a miniature bottle.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, so what's the size of your aquarium?
Yeah, I broke 2.
You broke 2 aquariums?
Yep. One fell off the plinth and just shattered on the ground. And the other one, as someone said, you crack the bottom of them dropping these just glass into acrylic, and it doesn't take much.
Yep.
And I dropped a lot of times.
Yep. I love the splash, the air bubbles that were caught underneath the thing escaping that way. Now tell us about your label, because your label looks really good. Did you put that back in?
No, I didn't touch it. I adjusted some clarity and I took out some stray bubbles. But that's all I did with this. I did.
You luckily dropped it with the label coming right at us like that then.
Well, you get better at dropping things when you do it, 600 or 700 times. I don't know. I did lots of different things. I did fruit. I did aftershave. I did soaps. For the week, I was dropping stuff in an aquarium. And this was the best, though. I thought the white was really good.
Yeah, I love the little color, subtle color coming through the glass here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. The other little thing that may go unnoticed is you get this perfect surface here, and we're breaking the surface with these little splashes. And look how this splash comes right up through the surface. That's so cool.
Yeah, the aquarium was a lot of fun. A lot of fun. It's unfortunate that I broke them both, but Amazon is delivering another one. So,
well, the next one, the next shoot, luckily we will not be breaking anything. We're going to be dropping color into it.
Okay, that's good.
And don't let me leave the show until you say, Don, tell us the Judy story. Okay.
Okay.
Really nice. Good set. Good solid set.
Yeah, pretty clean.
Yeah. Cool.
Thanks.
Cool, cool. Jerry.
Hi, Don.
Hi, Jerry. Oh, man, this splash is just really frozen. You're doing an AD200 at 16th power and 2 speed lights at 8. You're really stopping that action.
Yeah, yeah.
Tell us about the label. Did you have to go back in with the label?
No, no, that was one shot. I got lucky, I think. I brought it up a little bit afterwards, but that was it.
Okay. Brought it up well. We've got our white text back. We've got our white text back here. This looks good. This little area of white here on the label, Jerry, I would pull that up a little bit to maybe meet something like right in here. Not this, because it's the shadow side, but something right in here. This is getting a little dark back there. If you've got Vivesa, that would be the tool to use.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that looks really good. I love the composition that you're doing here too. This is pretty solid. Look at nice V coming right down in there, leading us to it. A lot of action above the water. We got a little bit of stuff. The highlights on the item look pretty good. The only place I think we needed another highlight is down the side here.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. There's a Photoshop tutorial by, I think it's Piximperfect.
Okay.
I think it's Piximperfect, and he'll show you how to get that edge. Okay. I can tell you one way to get the edge. I can't show you because I don't have Photoshop in here. How good are you in Photoshop? Can you see it in your head?
I'm getting there.
Okay. So we're going to cut out the bottom half of this unit.
Yeah.
We're going to put that unit, that little thing, that little cutout, then below this unit. And then we're going to brighten it. So we shouldn't be able to see it because we got it on the layer below this one. With me? And we're going to make that by you've got to turn your layers, you've got to lock the pixels. So we're not going to brighten anything else, but you're going to brighten that thing. With me?
Yeah.
Then using the arrow key, you're going to tap it to the left about 3 arrow keys and boom. Because it's the perfect shape of this unit because you cut it out.
Okay.
So under very close scrutiny, it might be revealed, okay? But we're not letting anybody, I mean, on the web, it won't be seen. If you printed it in a magazine, it wouldn't be seen. If you blew it way up and started hitting the magnifying glass, yes, you might tell that we did it. But in most cases, no, we won't do it. Oh, and if you want to add a little bit of extra flair, you do it a second time, and hit the Gaussian blur it a little bit, and then it will appear to wrap around this. Now that gets real tricky. So you have the hard one and the Gaussian blur. When the Gaussian blur, when you're using it to just pop back around here a little bit. We're in high dollar retouching at this point. So the other way to do it, Jerry, is to send it to somebody who knows what they're doing. That's number 3. I generally go for number 3. So good shot. Good
Thank
shot. Yep. 2 lights from either side. That works. Definitely works.
The only, actually, one of the problems with it was, I guess, it was a borrowed aquarium. And the base of it is actually black. So I was hoping to be able to light from underneath, but so that didn't help that situation, I guess.
Yes, yeah, you'd have to put a card out here or a piece of white plastic. You can put Home Depot, you can get like a chunk of broken fluorescent light fixture stuff, you know, and drop that into the bottom. Something like that. Every time I've gone to Home Depot, there's chips and things laying around, and every time I've asked, they've just given them to me. It's like, well, we don't have to sweep them up now. So Every time I've asked, I think I've asked once. It's not like an ongoing thing, but the time I asked, they gave them to me. Very good. Very good.
Thank
Asha.
Hi.
Hi, Asha. Good highlights on your can. Look at that. Yeah. This looks like one drop. Am I one
Yes.
single image, right?
Correct.
And did you clean up the can at all, or was the can that
Yes.
clean?
No, I cleaned up where the thumbs up and the thumb is. So I cleaned up around there.
Very nice. I like how the distortion in the splash here is like, it's like almost like it's melting up into the background. That's very cool. You dropped it with a perfect label coming right at the camera. So can't get any better than that, Asha. Good for you.
Tried a few many times.
So I imagine, judging from the splash, you dropped it from really close. Am I right?
Yes, I kind of dropped it at an angle. So it didn't go straight down or it didn't go sideways. I dropped it like I sort of pushed it into the water, so to speak.
There you go. Yeah. Brighten up your splash, a little bit of contrast, brighten up your splash, really make it pop out. Beautifully done. Let's look at your
Thank you.
lighting. Okay, so dark field lighting.
No, just one splash and flash on top. That's it.
Oh, up here. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And what is this white card is coming out here to bounce the flash back into the can?
No, that was a funny story. Yesterday when I took whenever I took a shot, I could see these two lines on the aquarium, and I just couldn't figure out. So I had two lights earlier on the side. So I tried switching off one by one, and it just kept coming. And finally I figured out, because my camera is a 70, so it uses the pop-up as a slave.
Ah.
So that was, kind of lighting up, and there were like two lights, and the reflection was showing.
Yeah, those lights, that's the thing about light. When it's reflecting from this, it may not be adding any exposure, but you're always going to see the light itself.
Yeah, so I
That
needed to
little
put
pop
that
of light
paper
is
there.
you.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
To stop that.
Yeah, you finished that. So you've got enough white on the table here that I imagine
Yes.
that white coming forward on the table then is what's giving us our nice highlights.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So it was
very
like
good.
from kind of lighting up from down.
Fun. Nice shot.
Thank you.
Oh, that's it?
Yes, that's it.
Oh,
Now you
okay.
can say Judy's story.
Okay, doing the next assignment. The first time I did the splash assignment, the splash class, Judy Doherty took it. She's a food shooter. She took the class and she got some printer ink. And she dropped printer ink into the water in little different times. I'll see if I can find the shot. She made a print of it because she loved it. She submitted it to an international print contest and she won. I don't know if it's here, or let me try Judy Doherty design.
I listened to the last video that you were talking to her, and she mentioned alcohol based. Is that the same thing as printer ink? Or is that
Yes.
different, you know?
Yes.
Same thing?
Yes.
Okay, I ordered that.
Let me see if it's in her posters and illustrations. It should be here. No. Darn it. Wonder where she put it. Anyway, it won first place. And then the deal was if it won first place, it would be put up for auction. It not only won first place, she got $8,500 for it. Not bad. Not bad for a class she took online, huh? So definitely some cool stuff. I want to share this with you guys. One of our Project 52 photographers is really building her business in Montreal, and I'm very excited for her. We've got all of our people are working. They're working, but she just did this thing, and I sometimes get called out because I will tell you to your face that you should shoot for free. I will tell you right up to your face you should shoot for free. Some people get very mad at me, but let me tell you, Teresa went and borrowed a watch from a jeweler so that she could do a watch shot for her portfolio. Just hired her for a huge job, lots of zeros, big number. So the deal was if they loaned her the watch, she'd give them a print. So she essentially shot for free. And they said, oh my God, we've never seen watch shots like this. And they call her back and hire her for, I believe that she's shooting 150 watches at a very high rate. So there's ways of being found in this industry that are not Instagram. If you're trying to build a business on Instagram, you will be instantly disappointed. That's what the Insta is in Instagram. Insta disappointment. Nobody cares if you're on Instagram. Nobody who's hiring you cares if you're on Instagram. What they care about is, can you do great work? And if you can do great work and show them, you'll get work. Anybody out there? I know we've got some pros. We're working pros. Anybody out there thinking they might want to go pro at some point?
I think about it a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll get there, but yeah.
I mean, I'm kind of thinking about it too.
There's a myth that's huge out there, and that myth is that, well, there's no work and it's not like it used to be. Okay, I will tell you that half of the myth is true. It's not like it used to be. The other half of the myth is wrong. There is work out there, but so many photographers are of an age where they're this is the way humans are. The greatest time we ever had was, back in the day, right? You ever hear old guys talk about back in the day? And no, it's nothing like it was back in the day. Nothing like it was. It's different. If you understand the differences, you'll see why we have some photographers who are really busy, because they're not trying to do what worked 20 years ago. Today, you got to modernize it up. But there's work out there, and it's good. We've got a lot of Project 52 people who are, I guess you would say, part-timers. They're retired, and they're happy to to bring in some work and have fun doing it. But don't ever let anybody tell you there's no work out there. Please, there is. All right.
Excuse
Any
me, Don?
questions? Yes.
I think I found what you're referring to. It's in the chat.
I found it
Judy's
also,
Judy's image.
and Judy.heritage also in the chat.
Yeah, it's in the chat.
JudyDoherty.com.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's nice.
There it is. There it is.
I don't see it.
Oh, you don't see it. Hold on.
No, you're not sharing your screen.
I've stopped sharing my screen, so I got to go back and do that.
So hard to get good help these days,
It's this technology. Back in the day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah. Pretty spectacular. So now this is Printer's Ink, and you can drop Printer's Ink. You can drop what's that super black ink? What's it called?
India ink.
India ink?
India ink. You can gel the lights going into the India ink and get some interesting effects as well, because the India ink hangs real tight together. It becomes a shiny mass. You can drop wax. You can drop a lot of different things into it. Food coloring. Food coloring dissipates really fast. Just remember, when you drop the red food coloring in, you now have to empty the container, right?
Yeah.
So find a way to do it without having to go and carry 8 gallons of water down the stairs for every shot. Figure out how you can do this. Maybe you wall it off so it's you only need a thin layer, and maybe you just go get a glass iced tea jug. You know, you only need a little bit of water. This isn't something that's huge. This is I think she was using I want to say 100 millimeter macro right up against it. These are tiny drops. So be very, very careful with what you're doing. Okay.
The other thing is water temperature makes a difference.
Good.
Cold water
Absolutely.
dissipates much slower. Hot water dissipates very fast.
Yes, absolutely. There's so many things to it, but what an interesting, fun experiment to do these things, because you could think about, like, okay, well, you carry it on and you think, okay, what if I took a little fire truck, drilled a hole out, stuck some red printer's ink in it, and dropped it into the water, and they let the ink come flaming out of the back of the truck. All kinds of interesting things can be done when you take what you know and you roll it out. And there's 3 things of knowledge. There's things that we know, there's things that we don't know, and there's things that we don't know we don't know. Okay? Those things that we don't know are only found through experimentation. It's why I'm a big believer in, you get lights, take the lights out and shoot lights all day long. Shoot it in the shade, shoot it outside. Figure out those lights. Don't just buy the lights and let them sit there until a shot comes up. Really put them through their paces and write it down. Okay, well, here's my shot of my plant on the porch. I'm using 1/25 of a second, 5.6. I'm on 1/32 power. That's what that shot. Okay, 1/16 power. Okay, and pretty soon, within the matter of hours, or maybe a few days, if you can only do it for a couple hours a day, but within a few days, you will understand that flash so well that you'll be able to go, okay, it goes right about here at a 32nd power. That should give me F4, and you're done. I use that rope meter. I have a good Minolta meter, but I can take a speed light and hold it and get within maybe a 1/10 or 2/10 of a stop, because I've used it so often. The one thing about lighting, it never changes. If that flash is on 1/16 power, it's going to give you the same pop of light, whether it's Tuesday, whether it's nighttime, whether you're in North or South America, it doesn't matter. It's consistent. And that consistency will carry you, and you'll start to see how you can control everything in your shot. So get out and experiment. Any questions? All right. Well, I'm
Don,
traveling, so I will get the next assignment put up. And then the assignment after that, I'm actually changing. So that'll be a new assignment, not from the current splash class.
Don,
All right,
can
I
I
heard
just,
somebody was talking. Was there a question?
yeah, Don, Dean here. Just something I learned online. I looked on these ink things. What they recommend, just giving you guys a heads up, is that you don't drop it direct into the top of the water. If you put a funnel with a small tube, so that when the ink goes in, it goes just under the water line.
Oh,
yeah. Spread. If you just drop it on top, it just tends to spread along the top of the water, and it doesn't give you a good effect. What you need is like a funnel or a tube where you're dropping it just below the water line.
Home Depot and Michael's Art Supplies, or wherever you are, something like a home fix-it-up store or an art store, you're going to find all kinds of little things like that can help you out. Yeah, good. Thank you, Dean. All right. Everybody have a great rest of your day.
Thank you. Have a good
Sean,
day.
thank you.
Thanks, Don.
Bye, everyone.
Next week, bye, everybody.
Bye.
You.
Thank you, Don.
Cheers, everyone.